Okay, well done for everyone who completed the baseline assessment for where biology has got this year. I'm going to talk you through the answers and how to answer the questions when you're in a test. So, question number 1 is all about the specialised cells in your body carrying out particular functions. So if you're not sure, first things first, read them all. So we've got here a nerve cell, sperm cell, red blood cell, and ask yourself what you already know about them. But also over here, carries oxygen, carries nervous impulses. Well, nervous and nerve go together. So draw a line there. Already now, you're just down to the last two. One of these reaches and joins with the female sex cell and the other that carries oxygen. Well, we know that the sperm cell is the male gamete for reproduction, so that's going to be the sex one, meaning that the red blood cell must carry oxygen. And immediately, that's 3 marks. So if those were the answers you got, well done, brilliant, give yourself 3 marks. It's 1 mark for each one that you got correct. So moving over here, use the correct answer in the box to label the organs in the human body. I'm hoping that all of you know that in your head is your brain. And then just have a look. So cross brain out here, and you're left with heart, liver, lungs, stomach. So there are 2 of these, and you have to think, what of these have I got 2 of? Do I have 2 hearts? No. Do I have 2 livers? No. Do I have 2 lungs? Yes. And where are my lungs? Oh, they're up in my chest. I'm going to say that these are my lungs. Now I'm left with this one. Do I think it's my heart? Well, I know that my heart is connected to around the same area as my lungs, which is there. So I can rule out heart, which leaves me with my liver or my stomach. And in fairness, they're both in the same part of the body. What I want you to do, though, is really zoom in on here. And here, can you see this thing, which is the same sort of size and shape as this one, has a tube that goes up to here. Now, when we swallow food, does it end up in our liver or our stomach? So we now know that this is the stomach. So we can deduce that that's the liver. Again, it's 1 mark for each. So even if you only got your brain correct, that's still 1 mark, which is why it's important to answer every question. Okay, the next question. Your body produces many different chemicals which affect the way the body works. Use the correct answers from the box to complete each sentence. Some chemicals help break down food into soluble substances. These chemicals are called, well, let's do what we did before. Is it called blood? Does blood break down our food? No. Is it enzymes? Let's say, I'm not sure what an enzyme does. Is it glands? Well, no, I don't think glands are in my stomach for breaking down food, so I'm going to say no. Is it my hormones? Well, my hormones do lots of things. They make me tired. They make me excited. They tell me when I'm hungry. So I'm going to go with I'm not sure. Or is it my nerves? Are nerves chemicals? No, they're not. So I've got to choose between enzymes and hormones. But before I do that, hormones are transported to their target organs by, well, it's saying they're using them separately from chemicals. And it's saying here, hormones are secreted by. So I'm going to go with enzymes because I don't think hormones would be in every answer. So I'm going enzymes. Hormones are transported to their target organs by, well, we know that blood is what takes everything around to all organs, so I'm going to have a guess at blood. And hormones are secreted by, they're not secreted by my nerves, the hormones aren't secreted by hormones. I've used enzymes and blood, so I'm going to go with glands. And just by taking some time and thinking it through, I've done best guesses, in which case of these, they're all correct. Sometimes in exams, it's just about not panicking. A student starts training for a run in 6 weeks' time. She measures her pulse rate before running. After running, she measures how long it takes her pulse rate to go back to normal. She draws a graph to show this time change over 6 weeks. So here I've got time for pulse rate to go back to normal in minutes. And here I've got time in weeks. How long did it take the student's pulse rate to go back to normal after 5 weeks of training? Whether I know anything about pulse rates is irrelevant. All I have to do is read a graph. So I need to find 5 weeks along here. So here's my 5 weeks. And I'm going to go up that line until I reach the curve on the graph. And then I'm going to go across with that line, all the way across there, 8. So I'm going to put in here 8 minutes. How can you tell from the graph that the student has become fitter? It's 1 mark. They just want one piece of information. So what are we being told in this? That over time, it took less time for her pulse rate to return to normal. So that's what I would put. I can tell the student has become fitter because pulse rate returned to normal faster. Okay? And that would get me my 1 mark. The energy needed to run is released during respiration. Which gas is used for respiration? You might never have heard of respiration. It's what happens at a cellular level to give you energy. So have a best guess. What gas is most important to us? We know is oxygen, which is actually the correct answer. But never leave it blank. If you're not sure, put down a gas. When it's talking about human bodies, oxygen is usually a good guess. George touches a hot pan by mistake. He immediately pulls his finger away. This is an example of a reflex action. Draw a ring around the word which describes a reflex action. So is it something that happens slowly? Is it something that you learned? Or is it automatic? This is an automatic reaction, a reflex reaction. If you're not sure, have a guess, but it's automatic. So automatic means you haven't used your brain to do it. Your body does it immediately. So which of these activities is a reflex action? Writing a story, blinking when dust gets into your eye, kicking a football in a net. Well, I can tell you, being a Tottenham supporter, that is not a reflex action apparently. Writing a story, you use your brain. It's when you get dust in your eye. You don't think about it, your eye will immediately blink. It's a reflex reaction. Young children often become ill when they first start a playgroup. This is because they mix with a lot of people. Use the correct answer from the box to complete the sentence. Bacteria easily spread from one person to another. When bacteria get into your body, they quickly break, die, or reproduce. We know that you get ill and then you get iller, so it must be reproduce. Use the correct answer from this box to complete the sentence. Then you become ill because bacteria make. Now you might have to guess this. Do they make antibodies? What do you know about antibodies? We know that antibodies help make you better. Do they make salts? It's an unusual thing to have in a biology question. Or do they make toxins? They make you poorly, so have a look at the word toxin, toxic. You can usually make educated guesses. Sarah decides to take the contraceptive pill to stop her becoming pregnant. Her friend told her there were some advantages and disadvantages to taking the pill. Tick 1 box to show an advantage of using the contraceptive pill and tick 1 for a disadvantage. So, the pill is 99% effective in preventing pregnancy. Is that an advantage or disadvantage? I'm going to say that's an advantage. The pill will help you sleep better. Well, apart from the fact that's not true, this is to stop you being pregnant. So it's irrelevant. I'm going to ignore that for the moment. You must take the pill every day for it to work. That is true. Are you always going to remember? I'm not sure of the answer. I'm going to put that as a maybe. The pill will protect you against sexually transmitted diseases. We know that that is false. That's not true. Only a barrier method of protection like a condom would prevent sexually transmitted diseases. Therefore, this isn't true. It can't be correct. So this must be the disadvantage. Okay, and moving on to the final question. Doctors often give their patients antibiotics to make them better. What do antibiotics do? Do they kill bacteria and viruses? Only bacteria or only viruses? Well, if there's one thing 2020 has taught us, we know that antibiotics do not kill viruses, so therefore it only kills bacteria. Doctors may give patients a vaccine to prevent disease. The vaccine stimulates body cells to produce antibodies against the disease. Which type of cell produces antibodies? So, we know from earlier in the exam that red blood cells carry oxygen, so we know it's not that. Which leaves us with two, and if you have to guess, then guess. But remember that white blood cells are involved in helping prevent infection or by engulfing pathogens. So white blood cells is the answer. Well done on all you got correct. If you weren't sure of any answers, come and speak to me or drop me a message via class charts. Thank you.